Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Alright, well, it's another start of a week, I think, and we got a morning session ahead of us. So, you know what that means. Let me bring you to the chair. Yeah, I took my pre-workout, feeling pretty good. We're not going to the gym first, though. We are going to practice first. I've been really liking starting with the Giuliani. I've been enjoying that. I've been finding that engaging. And then, of course, we have the Bach Beatle 1001. I'm going to work on that. I haven't worked on the Presto in a while. Maybe I'll put some time into that today. Adagio Fugue, Screw the Siciliana. And then, yeah, that's where we're at. And then the Soar Mozart variations. Working on that. And that's a morning session right there. That's pretty much everything. Alright, we'll go ahead and jump into it. So, I'll see you in the piano bench. You know, there's some people out there that don't get back to it. Interpret that how you will. Alright, well I'm going to start with the Giuliani Sonata. Yeah, we'll talk more after this. I had to get to practicing. I'll see you on the other side. What happened last night? Okay, I think I've practiced enough for the morning. So, let me bring you closer. I think I'm about due to play the Presto for you, wouldn't you agree? Next, I'll probably play the Soar Mozart variations, but you know, it's Presto time. Alright, here it is. I messed up the ending. I might play that again. I did one really fast take. Playing the first page really fast is fun. Well, that's where the presto is. I think it's improved since the last time I played it. I'm getting the speed up. It's getting more comfy. I remember that thing was real uncomfy for a while, so it's kind of nice being able to just play it at like a speed. The store Mozart variations, that thing's just a disaster. I don't feel that great about it. I feel a lot better about the Bach. I think the Giuliani's coming along, but that thing is like so much easier than the store. Alright, cool. Well, that pretty much covers the practicing for today. It's been like a decent amount of time. Let's go ahead and make our way to the computer and we're gonna get to some stuff there. I'll see you there. Hey, well, I was gonna watch the Julian Bream video, but I'm getting this tone-based guitar video. The real reason why great teachers equal great results. So, this is actually pretty relevant to me because I'm always hawking my guitar lessons. Here's why you need them.
Why do so many people fail to learn?
Because they're stupid.
It comes so easy to others.
Because they're smart, like me.
This is no less than the ultimate question, the holy grail of education itself. In this video, we're going to tackle one of the greatest issues plaguing the entire world of education.
Is it just talent? Our opening question. You know what I think talent really is? For me, I picked up guitar really quickly. And I have a hypothesis for why. I always, ever since I was a kid, imagined myself as a guitar player. So I would always like consume guitar stuff and I would listen to bands and I would like imagine myself playing the guitar. That's just like what I found myself daydreaming about. And I think that that's actually a testament to visualization because I remember having thoughts as a kid like, how does a guitar work? And I would just like imagine it and I'd be like, well, it has like strings. So I guess you like hit the strings. Like I've done that with like a rubber band before. Like I've discovered that strings make sound when you make them taut. And I would think about like how my fingers would interact with them and I would just try to learn like about the guitar, like, oh, how many strings does it have? And I would know that it had 6 strings because I've like researched it. So I had all of these years of like prepping the guitar in my mind and visualizing playing it, that when I did finally go to play it, I actually found I was able to pretty much like play it just right then and there. Like, I remember I learned how to play Sweet Child of Mine, like, the first day I started playing. I could actually, like, play it. Like, I remember playing through it. I was, like, 10 or 11 or something. I wasn't, like, a teenager or anything. I teach 10 and 11-year-olds all the time. I would never, ever start them on Sweet Child of Mine. And if I did, they would never be able to play it as I did when I was that age. And I really do think the reason is because I had visualized it so much. I think it just translates over to just your actual physical body. And that's why visualization works, like, even for any kind of music. Like, you're playing, like, your Bach, visualize through it. You can learn music without ever actually touching the guitar. You can practice guitar without touching it, as long as you just visualize stuff. It's really effective. So even not knowing guitar at all, I was still visualizing. As a child, I was visualizing. What's your excuse? So people would look at me picking it up quickly and say, like, oh, that's talent. When really, it's just prep work that nobody saw. Only I knew about the prep work. I imagine it's the same thing. Like, if you have a kid that just, like, imagines being a painter and just like thinks of like things they would paint and like how they would actually paint, they think about brushes and like how do the strokes work and everything. I would imagine once they finally get brushes in their hand, they would probably be better than someone who's just never thought about it and is like discovering everything for the first time right then and there. It's prep work. Prep work works. It's really important.
To begin, let's have a quick look at the prevailing popular views on how great skill is achieved. First, there are the people who say talent is primarily innate and predetermined.
Actually, I convinced myself now. I feel like the rest of this video is just going to be me defending what I just said. There is no talent. There's only prep work. Just because you don't see that prep work doesn't mean it wasn't there. A kid can prepare. You have no idea what your kid is thinking about. My parents didn't know I was thinking about guitar and stuff. I didn't talk about it. I was like embarrassed about it. I felt like a dweeb kind of.
Then you have the people who say greatness is only achieved through decades of joyless grind.
And that's Minecraft for you?
This perspective technically allows for excellence to be achieved by many. It puts a huge question mark on whether it's even worth it. In the same vein, you'll often hear the famous 10,000 hour rule.
I wonder if I've played guitar for 10,000 hours. I hope not.
The original author of this number claims he got it from this paper. Many claims were made in its name that the original researchers never intended. They simply wanted to identify anomalies in the day-to-day life of outstanding music students compared to those who were considered merely good or average.
Why is average the lowest you can be? This is like unrelated, but that reminds me of the grading system for music and like competitions, like the 5 categories where it's like superior and excellent. That's the only ones that I actually remember because those were the only ones that you got. Like a superior was like you did good. Excellent was like, don't even come home if you get an excellent. And then the other three were just like unheard of. You just don't get those. I wonder what that grading system is. Superior, excellent, good. Good is like, you are scum. Like, if you show up with a good. Fair is, I've never even heard of a fair. And a poor. If you're poor, yeah, good, fair, and poor never happen. Excellent and superior. It's like, which one's even better? It's hard to tell. But yeah, those always tickled me.
The top performing students spent more time practicing and less with leisure than the worst performing ones.
Facts. Get your numbers up, average students.
Students in between, it actually gets a lot murkier.
Dude, that's because the good students who practice the same amount, they didn't do the prep work. It's because they don't care. They're probably just in there on their phone scrolling Instagram, not like what I was just doing. I mean, I was practicing hard. The difference between the best students and the good students, they're still practicing. The good students can hear their parents arguing in the other room. That's the difference. I already solved it for you.
Another team of researchers tried to replicate the findings of the original study. They designed a more robust double-blind experiment with a larger sample size, and the differences shrunk even more. It even seems that there are greatly diminishing returns when it comes to the pure amount of practice. There needs to be something else at play on top of that.
Your parents not freaking screaming at each other. That's the thing. I don't know why I'm latching onto that now.
Let's try to identify the lowest common denominator in education, something that allows us to understand the learning process itself in simple terms. How do you teach a trick to a dog?
That is how you should approach teaching.
It's Toffee. And today she's our student. To teach a trick, we first need a trick.
Facts.
And what steps we take towards achieving it.
That wasn't a trick. That was just the dog being a dog.
There's repetition and patience. Toffee won't learn immediately, but given enough time, she'll be great. We need to practice often and regularly, but doing too much at once won't help either. And number 3, just as important, the reward.
You know something that I actually found really effective? This is like unrelated. I had a ukulele student one time, and by the way, I'm not going to teach you how to play ukulele. This was a long time ago. I used to have piano students too, believe it or not. I'm not going to teach you piano either. Not that I could, but I could teach you ukulele. I'm not going to though. But I did have a ukulele student who was extremely unfocused. This is a kid. We were just like working on chords and just kind of hanging out in the room. This was at a music store at the time. And the only thing that would get him to actually try to play the ukulele instead of just running around and like destroying stuff was if I gave him a pencil and I let him check mark a chord on the thing after he had learned the chord. And once he got that first one, he got like addicted to putting checks on the check mark, but he couldn't do it unless he can play the chord. And so that was like a reward solution. Rewards can be really simple like that. I don't know, I feel like I should implement them because they do work, especially on kids. I like to think that for adults, the reward is just playing. I don't know, adult students, should I implement rewards? I do give out diamonds for listenings.
Not always food motivated, and she only likes being patted on her own terms. She's very independent, which is cute.
Don't patronize your dog.
And if you play with her, it's like the greatest thing ever. We already see the rewards are a bit more conditional. They need to suit the student, clear and predictable. Only a proper trick can result in a treat. Most crucially, the reward needs to happen immediately.
Damn. Just like this ad.
Every second counts, and if we wait too long, it just won't work anymore. That last bit is the one thing I want to pay close attention to. When it comes to learning, humans fundamentally don't really differ that much from dogs.
Is that how you view people? Jeez, imagine being this guy's student. All of my students, I think that you're better than a dog.
If you're the teacher, you need to have a good understanding of the skill, and you need to know what practical steps are necessary to get there. This, of course, also applies if you're your own teacher. In either case, join tonebase, obviously.
If you're your own teacher, I'll be your teacher.
We need regular practice that's long enough to get results. It's really the third ingredient where things fall apart spectacularly. Typically, both teachers and students blame any problems on the tangible method, ingredients 1 and 2 in our model. The initial thought is that it will just take another method book, a different technique, clearer instruction, or a better instrument.
Wait, that's not gonna solve it? Oh my god, I'm like getting a guitar made. I thought that that was gonna cure my nail sound. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm not listening to this. We're just letting him go.
If that doesn't work, we might throw around poorly defined terms such as lack of talent or laziness to sway any potential for positive change. All of that while the issue most likely lies in a fundamental fundamental misunderstanding of how our own reward system works. And basically anyone who's good at what they're doing will have at some point figured this out for themselves, no matter if they're aware of it or not. Rewards are not optional, and they need to be adequate, clear, and immediate to trigger the learning process. This doesn't mean that every practice session has to be a euphoric party, or that it's always going to be easy and pleasant. Would be nice though.
I don't know. It depends. Do you drink alcohol before you practice? You can get pretty euphoric that way. For me, and I know for a lot of you, music is enough of a reward in itself because you just want to be able to play the thing, and that's like the actual dopamine hit. But if somebody doesn't feel that way, it's pretty hard to teach them music. But I don't know. I do believe that a lot of people can feel that way, even if they don't initially. I always knew I wanted to be a guitarist. I think I can kind of stem where my like reward system came from. I remember grinding Pokemon when I was a kid, and just like grinding and grinding, getting to like level 100 for everything. And the reason why I did it is because I wanted to beat all my friends in Pokemon. That was my goal. And I would just grind and get better in them, and then I would just wipe them out. That was really satisfying to me. And I think that that carried over to guitar, and I think that's why I practiced scales so much as a kid. I hated the idea of somebody being better at scales than me, or just better at guitar than me in general. I remember there were like a few kids in my school who were better than me. I just stopped caring about everything except playing guitar, and I just like grinded it until I felt that I was better, which like who knows if I even was or not, but I felt pretty good. Yeah, and now I live in the real world where there are some freaking crazy guitarists out there, so that's like never gonna happen. But I'm also mature enough to accept those things. Like, oh god, I remember when I was a kid in strings, when somebody else would bring a guitar and they would get to play guitar with the orchestra and not me, I would just be so jealous. Which is really funny because now I watch people play guitar all the time and those feelings just never even occur. But when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was just like grab the guitar from him and shred, just to like assert dominance. I remember those feelings were so crazy when I was a kid. So in short, I guess my motivations came from wanting to be better than everyone else, which, you know, is like kind of psychotic, but I think it's important also to recognize what motivates you. And I feel like I harness a lot of that now, but in a much more like positive and productive way, where I'm not like angry all the time. I think I pretty well understand what motivates me. We'll continue this discussion later. We made it through the first two sections of this video. I might just go through this over the next few vlogs, just so we can cover it. But yeah, this is a pretty good one. It made me talk a lot. Sorry about that. I feel like we could have listened to him more, but you can always watch the video yourself without my yapping on it. Okay, I need to wrap this up. I need to go ahead and start my day. So, I'll see you in the outro. Hey, well, you know, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Hey, want some guitar lessons? I am also a very patient teacher. You know, I like to joke around and pretend like I'm a mean guy. I'm not a mean guy, though, I promise. You know, I'm just having fun. I'm having fun in my apartment by myself. Thanks for joining me. So, you know, guitar lessons, look into that. Hey, new thing, first lesson is free, so send me an email, and I'll give you a free first lesson. I think I'm gonna start doing that because I feel like there's a lot of you that are like on the fence. Well, you get a free one, so you have nothing to lose. So, you know, be sure to take advantage of that. We'll see how long that lasts for. This is not legally binding, but, you know, I'll make good on it. What else we got? Of course, if you have a comment question, feel free to leave that and I'll answer it in the chair at some point. I sometimes do that. Sometimes I talk in that chair. Sometimes I talk in the chair we were just in. Okay, well, I need to start my day. I'll see you tonight.